A procession of more than 400 emergency vehicles from agencies across the region honors a fallen Vancouver police officer. Today, the community mourns the life of Donald Sahota, who was mistakenly shot and killed 2 weeks ago. A man found guilty of murder in 1991 is back in court today. It's his 7th time being sentenced for the same crime after winning several appeals. The plan to remove Oregon's mask mandate will have a big impact on local schools. Each school district will now have to create its own mask policy no later than next month. We begin today with the memorial service for fallen Vancouver police officer Donald Sahota. He died at the end of January, shot and killed during a chase for a robbery suspect. Galen Etland takes us to the memorial this afternoon, honoring Officer Sahota.
The sound of bagpipes and drums filled the A Ballroom Tuesday. Then, a prayer.
Help us to be for one another what we need to be in this time.
Hundreds paid respects for fallen Vancouver officer Donald Sahota.
While Don has fallen, he remains alive in our hearts.
I am truly devastated by the loss of Don.
From the police chief to Sahota's former police partner.
This job is a calling. We feel it's what we were meant to do. We know Don always answered that calling, even at the very end.
His friends and colleagues described a man dedicated to service.
Anyone that knew Don well understood that he was a selfless man.
And his children, who did not wish to be on camera, shared the light he brought to others.
I am so proud today of the career that he had and the amount of good that he did.
Dad, you will forever have a place in my memories, but most importantly, in my heart.
We miss him so much and everything aches, and we really just want to sit down and cry. But I think the time to rest will come, and I hear my dad in the back of my mind telling me to just get right back up on that horse.
And through the pain, a reminder to live life to the fullest.
And he told me how much he loved Donnies and he loved his kids.
He's brought honor to his family, his department, and his community.
I do take comfort in knowing that this is not goodbye forever. Rather, this is more of a see you later to Don.
For sending our condolences to Officer Sahota's family. Vancouver's police chief also thanks Governor Jay Inslee for being there today and mentioned the governor met with Officer Sahota's family to pay respects. A memorial fund is set up for the family. People can donate by going to any Chase Bank.
These guys and gals come to work every single day to protect all of us, and this is so unfortunate that this officer, lost his life.
Earlier today, community members lined I-5 to honor Officer Sahota as his body was moved from a church in Vancouver to the memorial service in Ridgefield. KGW's Mike Benner watched alongside the onlookers and brings us this report.
A crowd of adults and kids alike lined an overpass in Ridgefield Tuesday, all to catch a glimpse of the procession for a man they call a hero.
These guys and gals come to work every single day to protect all of us.
Don Stoss, former mayor of Ridgefield, was among those who wanted to pay their respects to Vancouver police officer Don Sahota.
This is so unfortunate that this officer, lost his life.
I think he should just be remembered for serving his community and wanting to do the right thing for us.
Dozens upon dozens of first responders escorted Officer Sahota's body from a church in Vancouver to A Lune Casino, site of Tuesday afternoon's memorial service. This gave the community an opportunity to say thank you to the officer who was shot and killed as he tried to detain a robbery suspect who showed up at his Clark County home.
I read the story. This came to his home, where you should be safe, and he did his job even at his house, so that's honorable.
That explains the emotions people felt as the procession snaked its way northbound on I-5, flashing lights and emergency vehicles for as long as the eye can see.
Everyone's honking. I almost started crying because I'm emotional, but just being able to see everyone just pour out their hearts.
The community pouring out their hearts for a man who did the same for them.
We're here in Ridgefield to support those folks that go to work every single day to make sure that we're all safe.
As you saw in that video, there was a long line of first responders who took part in this procession. Too many to count, really. But to give you an idea of just how many showed up, from our vantage point along I-5, it took almost 10 minutes for everyone to pass. Immense gratitude for Officer Don Sahota. Reporting in Vancouver, I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
And KGW will continue to cover the events honoring Officer Donald Sahota's life on air and online at kgw.com. We have more today on the end to Oregon's mask mandate by next month. It's happening in other parts of the country, too. As COVID cases continue to drop, several states announced that they'll soon lift mask mandates. That includes California, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Delaware. Across the country, more than 60% of the 500 largest school districts do still require masks. So what does this mean for school districts here in Oregon? Well, with no statewide mandate, each school district will have to now create its own mask policy. Our Christine Pidewanich joins us. And Christine, district leaders are really under a lot of pressure here.
Brittany, they really are, especially since individual districts will be making the call as to whether to keep or do away with masks in schools. And as many of us know, there are passionate people on both sides, and that puts a lot of pressure on districts. Parents and students protested outside the Sherwood School District offices Tuesday morning. Unhappy kids still have to wear masks at school.
The original emergency order was supposed to end today. So that's why we're making the statement today, is because it really truly should have ended today.
We want it sooner, not March 30th, today.
Oregon health officials say on March 31st, individual school districts will be able to make decisions on whether to require masks.
Very quickly, you hear it's your decision, and then you also realize universal masking is one of the layers of protection, and a lot of our safety protocols have been built around that as a constant.
Salem-Keizer Public Schools Superintendent Christy Perry says there's a lot to consider. If masks are removed, what will it mean for the risk of illness? What about kids who go home to high-risk family members? These considerations are on top of an already stressful year.
We're just in the midst, like everyone, in a really fatigued system, and it's one more change and decision point in a system that's already really fatigued.
A Department of Education letter to superintendents says the CDC, as well as state health and education officials, strongly advise the use of masks in schools, and further says a lack of masks will likely result in more days out of school for unvaccinated students and staff, and more classroom and school closures due to staffing constraints. It also says without universal masking, schools should anticipate significant increases in workload from contact tracing and notification. Salem-Keizer plans to give families more information by early March and also has similar plans to the state's largest district, Portland Public, which intends to work with county health officials to come up with a plan. Brittany?
All right. Thanks so much, Christine. Meanwhile, the federal government could pump more money into area restaurants struggling because of COVID. Last spring, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund meant $30 billion for owners across the country. Now, lawmakers are trying to replenish that fund. Congressman Earl Blumenauer heard from restaurant owners who received some of that initial money, like Ricky Gomez, who owns Palomar in Southeast Portland. He says without help from the government, he wouldn't have been able to stay open.
I consider myself very, very lucky. I was one of the applicants who was awarded a grant through the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. Only about a third of applicants were awarded that grant.
Within just weeks of the program opening last year, more than 300,000 restaurant owners submitted applications.